What's up, everybody? My name is Davis. Welcome back to another accurate weather video. Today I'm going to be breaking down the two biggest weather events that are likely going to happen this week. That's kind of what I'm getting used to with my evening time videos. I'm kind of enjoying doing this. If you guys are too, make sure to like and subscribe. I know these aren't my most popular videos, but I kind of like these more chill weather forecasts. So the two things I want to talk about tonight are, surprise, surprise, the continuous flash flooding and this big winter storm that's about to come through. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Now we're going to start off with the flooding, because today we have a 15% risk, a slight risk, you have rather, a 15% risk of flash flooding tonight if you are anywhere from San Antonio to DFW, back up towards like southwest Arkansas, and even into southeastern Oklahoma. Okay, so if you're in that region tonight, you have a 15% chance to see flash flooding, so definitely look out for that. We're already seeing some minor flooding occurring in some areas of northeast Texas, so yeah, we need to look out for that. We do have a flood watch in effect, so go ahead and check on your local weather app if you're under a flood watch. But yeah, moving on to tomorrow here, we're gonna have another 15% risk, slight risk of flash flooding. And I want to clear this up really quickly, because I know when I say a 15% risk of flash flooding, you may be thinking, oh, so we have a 15% chance to see flash flooding on this day anywhere in this circle. That's not what that means. It means, so it's kind of hard to explain this, okay? You're probably thinking that this yellow means we have a 15% risk to see flash flooding anywhere tomorrow, right? Well, that's not exactly how it works. You're going to have a really decent chance to see flash flooding if you're taking it anywhere out of this whole circle, but it's a 15% risk for you no matter where you're at in this circle, okay? I don't know if that makes sense, but basically a 15% risk is a lot bigger deal than it sounds. In this yellow circle, likely, we're going to see some pretty strong flash flooding, most likely, but the 15% risk comes from, it could be a 15% chance to see it in any specific area, okay? So, like, if I said there's a 15% risk of flash flooding in Little Rock, that would be a true statement, but if I said there was a 15% chance of flash flooding in the yellow, that's not really a true statement, because there's a 15% chance to see flash flooding anywhere in the yellow circle, so hopefully that clears that up. I know it might be a little confusing, but just trust me, a 15% flash flood risk is a much bigger deal than it sounds. Sunday, we're going to have another 15% risk of flash flooding in a similar location, which is why we're really worried about this, okay? From northeast Texas back over even into just a tad sliver of southwest Indiana there, but like western Kentucky as well. You're going to have that 15% risk of flash flooding, so look out for that. Monday here, we don't have a risk, and Tuesday we don't have a risk, but I imagine they will get issued at some point. Now I want to move on to the snowstorm next year, because this is going to be a pretty decently strong one, alright? So, right now, we do have some snow accumulation here in portions of the northwestern United States from our last snowstorm that moved through the region, alright? We got, maybe 2 inches in some areas, some isolated areas here where there's a 1.7 inch reading. So if you're in the mountains, you most likely got 2 inches of snow still on the ground there, okay? But let's go ahead and play this to 5 p.m. tomorrow and see how this piles up, alright? So we get even more and more snow here, a pretty significant amount, and it starts to spill into other portions of the United States as well, okay? So we're going to break this down state by state here, kind of region by region. Washington, maybe a dusting and extreme southeastern bits of the state, but nothing major. Idaho here, you're gonna have a good chance to see some snow here, but only in, like, eastern Idaho, okay? So if you're in the panhandle there, most likely not gonna see anything. If you're in southwestern Idaho and, like, the Boise region, I don't know why I struggle pronouncing basic town names. Believe it or not, I have heard of Boise, okay? I know Boise is a very populated place. This isn't my first time talking about Boise, okay? But I just struggle to pronounce things, especially whenever I have a cold like I do right now, so sorry about that. But yeah, Boise, most likely not going to see anything. But once you get into, like, the lighter blue colors here in Idaho, you could see some stuff, maybe a dusting of snow. But in, like, southeastern Idaho here, we could get an inch of snow on the Montana-Idaho border, or sorry, the Wyoming-Idaho border. So definitely look out for that if you're in southeastern Idaho. But again, that's not much for you guys. You guys get snow all the time. Wyoming here, northwestern Wyoming is really going to get some pretty strong impacts from this, alright? As you can see, it may look like, oh, just an inch or two of snow, Davis. What are you talking about? Well, those are not exactly accurate readings. It's hard to get good accurate readings with this tool, but as you can see, there is a 3.6 inch reading in one of the darker blue colors, which I would guess is a more accurate prediction for how much snow you could see if you're in the very dark blues, okay? So about 3 or 4 inches of snow in the very dark blue colors there in northwestern Wyoming, so look out for that. The mountains, unfortunately, they don't count the mountains on this winter weather radar, but they are probably going to get a pretty significant amount of snow. I'll just say that because it's hard to forecast for the mountains. And then if you get to like northeastern Wyoming, just a dusting, or maybe not at all. Same thing for like southwestern Wyoming. But like in the southeastern area of Wyoming, this is where we're going to see our other big snow system come into place here in like the Cheyenne region, okay? We can definitely see multiple inches of snow there in southeastern Wyoming. I just saw a 2.9 inch reading, 2.5, 2.3. So 2 or 3, maybe 4 inches of snow in some isolated areas here in southeastern Wyoming, so look out for that. Nebraska, surprisingly one of the harder hit states here. You're going to see probably nothing if you're in southeastern Nebraska. If you're in like central Nebraska, maybe just a dusting upwards of like an inch or two. But then once you get into like western Nebraska here, I mean in those dark blues, once again, those are like 3 inches of snow. There's a 3.6 inch reading. So 4 inches of snow possible in this region here, okay? Arthur, definitely going to get about 3 or 4 inches of snow, okay? So it's going to be pretty decent here. But then you look in here and you see a 7 inch reading, so you know, you just can't tell. Ashby, 6.9 inches of snow. That's a lot of snow compared to these other regions that are in a very similar color. So I'm guessing there's going to be probably more than 3 or 4 inches of snow in this general area. 5 or 6, maybe even 7 in some isolated areas. Okay, so let's talk about another state here. Colorado, I think, is a good one to mention. Once again, southeast Colorado, northwest Colorado, southwest Colorado. Most likely not going to see anything. But if you're here in like north central or even like west central Colorado, I mean, you could get some of the heaviest snow of this whole thing, alright? We got a 5.9 inch reading here just south of Avon. We do have a 5.3 inch reading here east of Snowmass Village. 6.9 inch reading, 7.2 inch reading even here south of Snowmass Village there in the mountainous regions. So definitely look out. Mountains could see 7 or 8 inches of snow in Colorado. So this is going to impact Colorado pretty heavily, okay? Colorado Springs may only see a dusting, but other areas in Colorado are going to be pretty heavy. Utah, maybe some isolated dustings here in southwestern Utah. Same thing with northeastern Utah, the exact opposite side of the state, funnily. But overall, not much. I don't know if I covered Oregon, but if I didn't, northeastern Oregon, just a dusting. Iowa here, northwestern Iowa, could actually see a decent amount here in like the Sibley region. I think 2 or 3. Sorry. I am just all messed up tonight, guys. 2 or 3, 4 inches of snow possible in the darkest blue isolated areas there. Sibley once again, but also like Melvin, you know, Cloverdale, those areas there, and Iowa, look out for that. Minnesota here, southwest Minnesota, you could get upwards of an inch or 2, but if you're in like extreme southwestern Minnesota, 3 or 4 possible in isolated areas here, southeast Ransom, so look out for that. Not many other states are going to see anything with this, okay? Now, this is going to, I guess I didn't mention Kansas. Kansas, just a dusting in north central Kansas. Okay, but here's the deal. This isn't going to stop at 5 p.m. Saturday, which is when this is forecasted for. So we could get more snow than you're already seeing here, but over the next 21 hours, that's likely what you're going to see. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe. I know I'm a bit of a mess tonight, but hopefully you still enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.